Merhaba arkadaşlar. Kaldığımız yerden devam ediyoruz. En son yaz olifi üstüne bir varsa oyun yapıyorduk. Bozulmuş yapamamıştık. Ben bir şey yaptım. Biraz çirkin oldu. Biraz yani bana göre bir tık yani gemi benzedi. Biraz çok güzel olmadı yani. Biraz çirkin oldu. Ama olsun, yapacak bir şey yok. Daha ilk gemim yani. İlk yaptım kendi gemim. Peki bir şey var. Alttan da böyle bir gösteriyor. Daha şeyde kaldık. Unity'nin görevi yaptık. Unity'nin tam lokasyonu öğrendik bu seyyahın günlüklerinden. Oraya gitmeyeceğiz. Birkaç yan görev yapacağız. Birkaç yan görevden devam edelim. Biraz sana hikaye biraz salalım. Bakalım ne olacak. Bu gemiyi oynayacağım. Gemide biraz sıkıntı var. İçinde falan işte. Çok da sonra zaten geminin içinde fazla gezmeyeceğiz. Gemi şu şekil oldu beyler. Gemi bu şekil. Arka motorlar falan güzel oldu. Biraz böyle biraz fazla motor var. Ama olsun. Yani bu şekil. Şimdi hangi yan görev yapacağız onu göstereyim. Böyle ilk temas var. Bunu görmüşüm bayi. Gemiye yetişim olmuşum. Ya kurmuşum da sonra gemiye gitmemişim galiba. Buradan bir iki tane görev yapalım. Sarmazsa tekrarına görevden döneriz. Her şeyimiz var. Yeteneklerimiz var mı? Yok. Yetenekli koymuş yok. Bunu 30 olmak üzere. 30 yapınca zaten şunu son bir açacağım. Komple gemi falan kalmayacak zaten. Bu kaldı. Bir gemi daha yaptık mı? Tamam olur o. Yani sırf onu açmak için bu gemiyi yaptım. Yapmış kendini kullanayım dedim. Biraz böyle güzel şekil oldu. Biraz daha şey yaptım. Top yaptım böyle. Top kanon yaptım. Tamam, fazla konuşmadan devam edelim. Görevimize gidelim. Görevimiz hemen şu yan sistemde olması lazım. Evet, Polimo'da.
Our tiny tin can fragile humans has survived being hurled through space once more.
All right, let's cycle that airlock and get aboard.
Hello, Captain.
Remain calm. There's no reason to suspect whatever it is hostile.
Hah, garip. Verin bakalım.
You're human.
Ne alaka?
Oh, we're human. From the planet Earth in the Sol system. It's just that we weren't expecting to find life, let alone human life out here.
Oha.
We thought we were the only ones to leave Earth.
You thought you were the only ones? I am afraid you have been unaware of a great many things.
Perhaps we should greet our guests.
Of course. Manners. I'm Captain Diana Brackenridge. This is Security Officer Bomani Reader. And this is Dr. Mabuti da Costa, one of our elders.
A pleasure to meet you.
I don't know all the particulars, but I'll try to answer as best I can. It's a colony ship. It was built long ago by our ancestors to sustain our crew over hundreds of years in space through generations of travelers. It's sturdy, fast, and spacious. That last one is important because we had to take as many supplies as possible with us on the journey and still have ample space for our crew.
Vay be.
You've come aboard the Earth colony ship Constant. Generations ago, we set forth from the planet Earth with the mission of colonizing a new habitable world in the spirit of our ancestors nearly a millennium ago.
Hayda.
I see.
Muhabbete bak.
As you may have presumed, we're in a bit of a bind. Our ship has finally completed its near 200-year journey from
Gözü
Earth,
ışıkmış aldı
only
ya.
to find our new home seemingly colonized by, well, we don't know. Communications haven't been successful, so your arrival is fortuitous. Perhaps you'd be willing to act as a middle person between ourselves and the others. We're not entirely sure. Our engineers believe it's possible that our technology just isn't compatible with theirs. All we hear when using them to communicate with anyone is a bunch of disturbing noise. It gave me the heebie-jeebies at first. Well, the short answer is, we didn't. It's a generation ship, which is to say that most of us live long, happy lives on board and
nesilden
passed
nesile
our mission
aktaracağız
down
yani.
to our children. It was never intended that the original crew would make it to our destination. The goal was always the preservation of the human race above all else. Though, it would seem that was perhaps a bit presumptuous. We do. Well, sort of. We saw structures using our surveying equipment. We've also seen the various ships pass us by. Some even seemed to want to communicate, but couldn't. Of course, we had no idea that they were being piloted by other humans. Ah, your question confirms one of our recent theories. It would seem that some form of faster-than-light travel or space-bending technology was
Hayda.
invented during our long journey. That would explain why we would find people this far out into space. I guess technology leapfrogged us at some point. Interesting. I can only imagine that our predecessors didn't believe the technology would ever work. And so they made the decision to leave when they did.
Vay be. Bunlar diyor dünya konsepti bunlar erken çıkıyor. O zaman da şey yok. Bu graf teknolojisi yok. Basıp gidiyorlar. 200 yıl sonra bu gece gibi ama bakıyorlar. Sonra graf teknolojisi oluşuyor. Ambas çoktan gitmiş oraya. Muhatap amına koyayım ya.
Oh yes, of course. Where are my manners? Now then, please follow me. There's much to discuss first. We'll speak more on the matter once we reach the bridge.
Olaya bak amına koyayım.
Dr. DaCosta, you may return to your quarters if you wish.
Thank you, Captain.
I will follow you to the bridge, ma'am, for security purposes.
I do not believe we have need to fear our guest, but I'll allow it if you insist.
Ya siz işte korkulacak tipim yok yani. Tam korkulacak bir tipim var
Welcome
aslında.
to the Earth colony ship Constant. In the early 2100s, my ancestor, Rupert Brackenridge, researched a number of scientific scenarios: climate change, asteroid impact, nuclear war, global pandemic, and more. Each scenario showed the likelihood of an extinction-level event to be within 50 years. He fully believed Earth was destined to be rendered uninhabitable. We've always assumed that's what happened. So, he gathered the best and brightest he could find, built the Constant, and set a course for this planet here. We were told that it was the largest, most advanced ship ever constructed on Earth at the time. If you can believe, entire generations have been born, lived, and died on this ship. It really goes to show that there are no limits to human ingenuity and perseverance.
Vay be.
So, here we are. Let's talk.
Just stay out of trouble.
Herkes şimdi kırın kafanızı be. Yani sinirimi bozma da.
I am both shocked and impressed that all of this is still functional.
Now that you're here, I can finally give my crew a chance at a new life. I think I'm coming up on 6 years now. I was only a teenager when my father died, passing command of the ship to me, as is tradition. Because of that, I've had to sort of learn as I go along, instead of taking years of study and apprenticeship under the prior captain. I think some people on the ship resent me for not having the level of experience as my predecessors. But at the same time, without my command, we likely wouldn't have made it here so quickly.
Sen olsan da ona buraya gelemez yani.
A bit frazzled, as you can imagine. People are anxious about discovering that we're not alone, and also worried about what will come to pass. While we hope we can work out a deal with the people on the surface, they seem reluctant to reach out, so there's no telling what will come of
Ya
that.
ne aç olmamışsın
I
ya.
do know that we can't afford to stay here in orbit forever. The ship was built to sustain us for many years with backup provisions just in case, but even that will come to an end eventually. Difficult is the wrong word. It can be both challenging at times and also exciting. Our mission was to rebuild humanity on a distant world, believing that we were Earth's last hope. To think that while there has always been a Brackenridge in the captain's chair, that I am the one to finally oversee our journey's end is truly exhilarating. But with this stumbling block in our path, at this final moment, I fear tough choices will need to be made.
Öngörü bak yani 2 öngörü girmiş ki.
Well, as I mentioned, we've been unsuccessful in communications with anyone up until you arrived, though not for lack of trying. But since you're asking, maybe you'd be willing to be a sort of diplomat between us and them as we attempt to resolve our situation.
Niye olmasın?
Does that sound agreeable to you? We suspect that our equipment is woefully obsolete compared to whatever you all have now.
200'lük
In all
ekipman var.
honesty, we never expected to need to communicate with anyone, so our comms aren't particularly robust. That limits our options. We even attempted communicating with lights and sounds, something we saw in an old movie, but I don't believe they picked up on it. If anything, it may have inadvertently alarmed them. We know there's a settlement on the planet below, meaning people were here before us. You see, we intended to settle here, but we assumed that they intend to defend their claim given their presence here. We'd like you to go speak to them on our behalf and help us negotiate a solution, preferably one that favors us. Excellent. Make no mistake, this is our planet, and we intend for them to see this our way.
Hayda sen ama.
So, speak with their leadership and see if you can negotiate a solution on our behalf. Preferably, get them to see things our way. Report back to me and let me know what they say, and we'll go from there. We thought about it, but it simply won't do. I need to think about the distant future of our people. Sure, our first settlement may be small, but our predecessors dreamt of our new civilization spreading across the globe. That will be difficult if someone else plans to do the same. While we're not completely close to the idea of sharing, it's much easier if we have complete domain over this world. I'm serious. We have a rightful claim to this land, and I intend to fight for it. But as you're currently our only hope, perhaps you'll honor my request and give it your all.
Gelin bakalım konuşalım aga ama sen çok dikkat konuşuyorsun yani.
We were never trained to address threats coming from outside.
Oha adama bir orman kurmuşlar oraya baksana.
Just because our equipment's old doesn't mean it won't work.
Sure is nice to know there are other people out there.
Gemiden neden çıkıyoruz gemiden be? Sen nasıl çıkıyoruz oğlum?
waving that fancy gun.
Never seen a ship like yours before.
Buradan geldik. Böyle geldik. Ha buradan gitti doğru. Tamam.
We've got strict rules around here, but they're strict for a reason.
Ya kes siz şimdi kırmızı ağzınıza bağlı. Hadi bakalım.
Pressure normalizing. Undocumented.
Paradiso bu şey otelin olduğu gezegen. Evin dışında böyle gözüküyor beyler işte. Toplar, herkese toplar nasıl? Toplar efsane ya. Gidelim bakalım şu işi çözelim.
Welcome to Paradiso. Jiro Sugiyama at your service. Do you have a security concern, or is there something else I can help you with? Neither. We're our own private force. The Paradiso group pays top dollar for top-notch security. And I dare say we're some of the best in the business. Something I can help you with?
Ulan imdat çağırsın harika.
Ah, yes. Let's get right to it then. As you can imagine, we've got a predicament on our hands. Under normal circumstances, we would not enlist outside help in this manner. But, as such, we need to handle this discreetly. So, before we proceed, I understand you're eager to get into it, but if you're unwilling to... Not too long ago, a strange and enormous ship appeared in Perimus. So far, doesn't seem to be hostile, but any attempts to communicate... I see. Well, if you're speaking on their behalf, I'll refer you right along to the chairman of the Paradiso Group's board, Oliver Campbell. All formal decisions will go through him, not me. I'll let him know you're on your way.
Bakalım gidelim bakalım.
Perhaps not the wisest decision.
I'm here to satisfy your needs.
I cannot recall ever having the time, let alone the funds, for a vacation someplace like this.
Excuse me, you can't just waltz in there. Do you have an appointment? Oh, you're the one they're waiting for then. Do you need anything else from me before you meet with the board? What I could tell you would get me in a lot of trouble. Most of them are typical sea-level execs. I doubt you even need to use your imagination for that. The ones that show up to work day to day, at least. I swear, I've never even met some of them, because they chill at their own private, secluded beach homes all the time. Anyway, be smart around Oliver. He's got a way of getting what he wants without you realizing it. And that's all I'll say.
Akıllı bir adam ya.
People were a little freaked out around here, understandably. It looks so different and it's so massive. We honestly thought we were under attack by an unknown entity. But then, nothing happened. It just stayed there. No one could communicate with it. And we've been very careful not to alert the resort guests. The board believed it would be bad for business. Sure. Have fun in the shark tank. And don't worry, even they call it that.
I just feel that we should be focusing on the natural beauty of this planet, not our amenities.
There are millions of planets out there. People can go to any one of them. The resort facilities are precisely what we bring to the table. Heck, it's the only thing we've really got to offer.
I don't want to risk us coming off as just another artificial, shady, trash-filled dump like Neon. That's not who we are. We've got something special here. We should embrace that.
Blom's right.
Thank you.
We don't want to compete with Neon. Bayou's ruthless. He'll do anything he can to eliminate the competition. We don't need that kind of trouble. That being said, I think there's a middle ground. Maybe build up the beachfront in a boardwalk amusement park. I've had this idea to build artificial hot springs, that sort of thing.
Sounds good. I'll look into what that will cost us and we can circle back around to this.
Just doing my part to make sure Paradiso remains a paradise.
Bir konuşması
Well,
kanka.
lucky I'm not like the other board members, lazing about the beaches without a care in the universe. Come on, mate. Loads more interesting things to do outside. No need to mill about in here.
Okay.
Not quite. We just don't answer to the Freestar Collective or the United Colonies. Makes things easier. We don't pay any taxes. We don't need to follow their laws. All the benefits, none of the drawbacks. And no one minds because half the politicians and other big shots love vacationing here. Works for everyone. We, the Paradiso Group, bought the rights to this planet years ago with the intent of turning it into the biggest and best resort in the universe. To that end, I'd say we've succeeded. As such, no other leisure enterprises may operate on the planet without renting land from us. But as you can see, none can afford such a deal.
Bunlar hayatta anlaşılmaz abi. Ben bunları nasıl isteyeceğim abi?
No, of course not. There's several more. We're just the ones who show up day to day. The others spend their time lazing on the beach or gallivanting off-world. Doesn't bother me, though. Less cooks in the kitchen means I get to make all the big decisions around here. Seems to be working out for us just fine.
Anlıyorum.
I am. And you must be the diplomat Jiro told me about.
Welcome, welcome. Normally I'd offer you an all-inclusive stay at our resort before we spoke. But given the circumstances, I'm going to cut to the chase. We've got our friends, the aliens, up there causing all sorts of problems for our resort. You like that? The marketing team came up with it. The thought is, if we can't get rid of them, it might actually attract more tourism. Come see the aliens!
Bak bunu kullanabiliriz.
We run a premier resort getaway here. We can't have our guests concocting stories about some budgy old ship hanging around up there. As it is, we've had to reroute our luxury liners round the other side of the planet on entry so no one sees it. It's bad for business. We need to nip this in the bud and take care of it before the tourists catch on and cause a scene. Being direct then. Good on you. So, what do you know about this dodgy ship I'm hearing all about? Well, that's something. Shame we can't just tell them kindly to bugger off. Something tells me that's not going to work.
Now, tell me, what are we going to do about it? Give me some proposals, people. I need something to work with here.
We could offer to resettle them here. There's more than enough space.
They could stay here, temporarily, but it'll cost them. Quite a bit, too. They'd need to work off all their debts before being allowed to leave.
Maybe not. What if we help them get out of here? Outfit their ship with a grav drive so they can find a new home. We could even lend our engineers to help and give their captain an updated star map.
Bu
What do you
fikir güzel fikir.
Sounds costly. We can't absorb that cost, and it's unlikely they even have compatible currency, let alone enough for the transaction. Someone else would have to foot the bill.
Oh, I swear this would be a lot easier if they ceased to exist entirely. Anyway, Seema's got the right idea. Either works for me. Just tell me what you want to do. We own this planet, they don't. Here at Paradiso, we don't like leaving things to chance. Who knows what these people will do with their land? Imagine the landscaping disasters they might come up with, and how that might mar the satellite imagery of the planet in our brochures. No, much better to assimilate them into our culture if they come here to live, rather than leave it to chance. Well, absurd or not, that's our official stance. I make the decisions that are best for our entire group. You don't.
Sen vermiyorsun diyor klasik kararı. Ben veriyorum diyor.
We operate outside of the Free Stars only, you see, partially because we don't want anyone else meddling in our affairs. And we'd rather not draw attention to it. As I've mentioned, it could be bad for business. We'd much rather settle this independently. I'm not suggesting anything, other than it would make our lives so much easier if that ship ceased existing. Make of that what you will. It's not our responsibility to bear the brunt of that cost. We're being more than generous by offering the use of our engineering team to help install it. A custom grav drive can't come cheap, and I assume they have neither the monetary means nor the connections to get a hold of that kind of technology. That leaves the only other party in this negotiation. You. Oh, I didn't say that specifically. This would be a mutual contract for room and board in exchange for services rendered. Of course, there's no telling how long this arrangement will last, given the substantial costs we'd need to take on in order to accommodate them here, including their continued room and board. But this may save the resort on operating costs in the long term, as we'd be able to let go of some of our current paid staff. And which proposal will you be taking to the good captain? I assume there's a captain? They'd be hard-pressed to defend their claim in any courts. Our charter goes back years. It was registered with both the UC and Free Star Collective, per the Centaurus Proclamation. We may be outside the settled systems, but that charter's official as can be. I'm sorry, but you're going to need to be the one to break the news to them that they need to make a compromise or leave. Good on you. You want to see a man named Benny St. James over at Hope Tech. He's the best in the business. If anyone can retrofit a 200-year-old ship with a modern grav drive, it'd be him. We'll coordinate our engineering team with his when you return, though you may have to help the Constance engineers prepare for it on their end. Good luck!
They deserve a renewed chance to decide their own fates. That is the right thing to do.
Right. On behalf of the Paradiso Group, we appreciate your help.
Gel bakalım.
Enjoy your stay.
Ya adamlara köle yapacak halim yok bunlara. Ödeyecek halim yok. Tek seçenek kalıyor. Grav drive almak bundan adamlara. Öyle bir şey yok yani. Yani köle olmak istediklerini sanmıyorum bunları.
is good to be back in our own ship.
Dust off complete. Orbital pattern locked in.
Aynen kulak bozuyor ya bunun sesleri. Optik'e gideceğiz. Optik'ten şey alacağız. Peki ne oluyor onda? Allah.
I don't want to hear any complaints.
Keep an eye on your value.
A fair amount of business.
O lan. Ne alaka? Ne bir şey oldu, böyle bir şey oldu.
You walk the factory floor?
Allah Allah. Yok ya belki bug'tır falandır.
Oh, hello. Someone worth paying attention to.
Dur ya dur. Diyeceğim amına koyacağım şimdi. Niye böyle bir şey yaptı bizim karı? Niye bana saldırdı? Hiç bilmiyorum valla. Bak aa yok. Dur şunu şöyle alalım da. Dedik ki bir şey patladı orada. Kavga çıkıyoruz, kavgaya gireceğim, yapacak bir şey yok. Bizimkide bomba atar varmış ama bomba atar sıkıyor. Bizimkide bomba atar varmış, bomba atar sıkıyor olarak. Onu da değiştireyim böyle. Orion vermiştim onu ama hemen ha. Of. Bomba atar attı içeriden bana bakayım.
We're here, hot off the stellar slide.
You're good to go. All clear to land at Hopetown.
Bunda başka oyuncular görüyor mu acaba burası çektiğim resimleri ya? Ben çünkü diğer oyuncu hiçbirini görmedim. Ha, birkaç tane çıkıyor belki onlar diğer oyuncu çektiğimi bilmiyorum ama.
A fair amount of business runs through Hopetown, and from what I understand, most of it is legal.
Buradan girelim sonra. Bugün sıkacak araba. Allah Allah, ne sıkıyor abi abi?
I have never liked Hoptech ships, though I suppose that is hardly the point of them.
Bunlar bize ne sıktı ha bunlar? Ne alaka ha bunlar? Ha baktık ama şu bir tane ya. Bunlar bak bu sıkmıyor. O sıkıyor. Garip.
My company only uses Hoptech ships. Never had a problem.
Oh no, that wouldn't work. We could save valuable weight if we got rid of the pilot's seat? Maybe. Sure. That sounds like me. What can I do for you? Oh, you should have just said that. Of course I can help you. Oliver sent a courier ahead of you. I did some research on ships from that era, and I have a decent idea what we're dealing with. So grav drives didn't really take off until after the ship was built. But I've got access to an ancient grav drive that looks like it could be compatible. With some minor adjustments. It's in good shape, too. Parts not cheap, though. Neither is the labor. Just pay the combined cost of parts and labor, and it's yours.
40.000. Evet, iptal edemedi dedi.
It's a pretty big
İlk
ask,
defa kasalım bari.
given how rare these old grav drives are. True. I keep telling myself I'm holding on to it for the right time. Perhaps this is that right time. Yeah, I hope so. Don't get ahead of yourself. You know, I have to make a living too. You're darn right it is. I'll get to work. I recommend you go back to the ship and ask the captain to prepare for its retrofit. Standard stuff. I'm sure they have an engineer on board to help. We'll send the part along when it's ready and install it with the help of Oliver. Pleasure working with you.
Tamam, tamam. Tamam, siz ne sıktınız amına koyayım? Boş gördünüz.
We can pause for a moment if you need to recover.
Ya şu bombatları değiştirelim enerjisten. Ya bombatlar hiç olmadı.
Yes,
Abi,
you
Orion
did. I
veriyorum.
keep.
Ha, Orion vermiş. Orion'u kullan. Ben bunu kullan. Benim Orion. Böyle tamam güzel. Ben bu Orion'u kullan. Ramp'ı öldürdük amına koyayım orada buradaki buranın sahibini.
I don't want to hear any complaints.
Howdy.
Keep an eye on your valuables.
Got anything you need to offload? Nothing for us to do. I'm sure you can. Sure, have at it.
Sıra hatalı oldu. Böyle biz reaktörü kurduk. Ondan böyle oldu bu. Okey, baba o iş. Burada var. Drive drive. Burada yaş tankımız var. Ondan bağlantı olmalı oraya. Hemen bir alalım. Buraya katlar kurmamız lazım. Var. Ya aç sikeceğim ama. Bakta kalıyor ve mahvediyorum ya. Bu şeyin baktı. Buraya atalım. Ya bu app'lar niye hatalı ya? Of. Güzel duruyor da çok şey görüntü bozar. Baka sokar yani görüntüyü. Şöyle bir şey yok mu ya? Kapak gibi tarzı bir şey. Ya bu olabilir. Koyayım onu. Bir şey vardı. Böyle anten manten tarzı bir şey vardı. Bu da basit siyahlar bir şey var. Bu ne? Müsil sistem. Aşağı müsil sistemi aşağı sistem tamam. Müsil mi atacak bu? Ne yapacak bu burada? Abi müsil atıyor. Alalım mı? Evet deneriz. Tamam şimdi içerisi aba oturdu mu? Oha, o disco partizanı var burada. Onları değişmem lazım. Çok baksana çok bozucu bir şey. Bu ışık ne lan? Aşağıya be, yapacak bir şey yok. En kötü şu sağ sol değişten bir de ışık var, bir yerde ışık vuruyor. Tam bir adam ışık vuruyor.
Liftoff initiated, Captain. Time to venture into that beautiful sky. Pumping retros. Orbit achieved. Stabilizing. Done.
Misyonlarmış bak. Bunları değişim aldım. Şunlar çok parlıyor. Anasını süke bak. Bunlar çok bozuyor o işi. Bunları değiştireceğim. Yayın dışı değiştireceğim artık. Güzel.
Our daring voyage to the oceans of space brings us here. Docking in 3, 2, 1, done.
Buna bozuyor abi.
Do you need me somewhere?
Excusez-moi.
Greetings, Captain.
The Constant is a peaceful ship. Don't change
People always appreciate a good engineer, whether they know it or not.
Amin. Amin.
I was hoping to talk to our visitor from outer space, and here you are! Welcome, welcome! I have a million burning questions, but I won't overwhelm you. There will be plenty of time for that later. Please, indulge me just a couple. How did you do it? Did humanity finally discover faster than light travel and eclipse our poor old ship? I knew it. It's incredible! I read about this technology in our archives from Earth, but it was only theoretical back then. Amazing! I'll have to learn more. Oh, I've got so many questions, but I'm being rude. I haven't even given you my name. Chief Engineer Kazemi, but you can call me Amin.
Amin.
And
Amin.
I might add, I'm one of the reasons we're still floating out here today. Indeed. Thank you for being so kind and indulging me. You must understand how thrilling this news is for someone like me. Someone who suspected this encounter was, in fact, possible. Ah, great question. I do not know for sure, but I can venture a guess. All of the reading I've done on the matter suggests that at the time, there was uncertainty that the technology would ever work, or if it did, that it would work at the scale we needed. So, I trust they made the decision to strike out when they did, fully believing it was the only way.
Oğlum ben bir Galatasaray maçı baktım da. Geldim geri geldim. 2-1 Galatasaray önde bu arada. Başka sorsun bakalım ya. Ne yapıyoruz?
Some may say I'm a master of keeping things together with nothing but duct tape and bubble gum. Well, if we had any gum left. Pretty sure that ran out 100 years ago. When I'm not dealing with catastrophic engine failures, I manage the other engineers. We maintain all the machinery, computers, you name it. We keep the life support on, and the ship flying. Many years ago, when I was a junior engineer, the reactor's computer burned out. The computer that controls the reactor's various regulators. I'll spare you the details, but when that happens, the ship and everyone on it is in danger of turning into a mess of hot slag. I had to jury-rig parts from old media devices to prevent a meltdown. And that's how I became the boss around here. Yes! So many! Does everyone have their own spaceships like you? Do people only live on naturally habitable planets, or did they learn to terraform? Are we in contact with alien species? I have so many more, but I don't want to take up all your time. Disappointing, but not unexpected. When you showed up, I tried to tell the others about the Fermi paradox. I suggested that the most likely explanation for you was that humanity had developed faster, more advanced technology and had leapfrogged us. Seems I was right. I'm not surprised. The amount of energy it would take to terraform an entire planet seems improbable. I can assume these types of colonies are strictly for mining and gathering rare resources, since there are nearly limitless habitable planets to choose from out there. Haha! I knew it! Incredible! Amazing! Simply amazing! In our ancestors' time, only the very wealthy could afford to build ships. Even this ship was only possible by our families pulling together nearly all of their financial resources. Thank you for taking the time to talk with me. I can have a bit of a big personality, I'm told. So let me know if I ever get on your nerves. What grab drive? Just joking with you. The Paradiso engineers filled me in. Okay, let's see what we need to do. All right. This will be fun. And hopefully there will be no explosions in the process. I have just received word that the drive is here. Ready to get to work? Great, great, great! There are 3 preparations I need you to help me make while I set things up on my end. First thing I need you to do is reroute the power from the port turbo pump to the auxiliary cryogenic radiator. Then, turn the plasma runoff inhibitor function to 5%. Last, you'll need to decouple the magnetic flange pipe enclosures from the auxiliary module assembly. Got it? Let's hop to it!
Okay. Kaç dereceymiş lan bu? Ben dinlemedim. Galatasaray maçı bakıyordum.
Something wrong? There are three things we need to do. Reroute the power from the port turbo pump, turn the plasma runoff inhibitor function to 5%. Decouple the magnetic flange pipe enclosures from the auxiliary module. So long!
Huh, saw meaning here again.
What is it?
These are exciting times. Aren't they?
O bir tık anlamadım ya. Şunu da anla bakayım ha.
If the other... something wrong? There are three things. Reroute the power from the port turbo pump to the auxiliary cryogenic radiator. Turn the plasma runoff inhibitor function to 5%. Decouple the magnetic flange pipe enclosures from the auxiliary module assembly. Careful not to touch anything on your way.
Oğlum tübü o kadar kötü ki anlamıyorsun ki hangisi olduğunu ama bakayım.
Let me know the next time you save us
Dur şu
all.
bakayım tekrar geleyim ya. Amına koydum. Kırmızı ne?
Terrible law.
Konuşmadan içelim.
Accident, and I'll give you one of my extra potatoes.
Al bakalım. Dur. Dur restoran hangisi? Ya bu ne be abi? Dur bak bu yanlış yaptık bak dur. Tamam.
Wow, I've heard about you, but here you are.
Geldi mi? Burada kaldım ama bakayım. Dur şimdi. Açtık. Ha tamam bu be. Allah kahretsin ya. Oh.
Looks like everything is good to go on both your end and mine. Can you go inform the
Buyuruz kardeşim. Öf be kardeşim bu hoca zormuş ya. Yapmam o saatte çözmem bunu.
Now that we know what's out there.
Ya bizi çevirdi kötü kanka. Çevirden de bulamıyorum yani.
The constant is a peaceful.
Well, well, it would appear we have the means to go nearly anywhere now, thanks to you. The engineers even upgraded our communications equipment so we can speak with passing ships. Turns out it was a pretty easy fix. Thank you again for all you've done.
Hey gosh.
We don't yet know, but we did receive a star map from the Paradiso engineers. I suppose we'll just chart a course for other suitable habitable worlds until we find one that matches the quality of Paradiso. Purima 2 here. Without you, we'd most likely be stuck. But you went above and beyond. I'll make sure people tell tales of your generosity for as long as our society lives. I don't know if we can ever fully repay you. Thank you again.
Just stay out of trouble.
We've roamed the stars for almost 200 years. What's a little longer? That's a good question, but I firmly believe... I think that we will assimilate to some degree. However, we fared by ourselves for so long. It would be... It may seem like it's about me maintaining control, but it's more about avoiding mass... Understandably, some are disappointed that we gave up our home, but I think I've managed to I have no doubt that even if it takes... And it's important to remember, Don't forget to tell of us in your travels.
Yolda açık olsun dostlar.
Just because our equipment's old.
I'm glad it is in your hands.
Tamam, burayı öyle bitirdik. Saat olmuş mu ya? Saat ağaçtan.
Let's get out of here.
Ağaçtan salalım beyler. Diğer bölümde görüşmek üzere. İzleme izleten teşekkürler. Beğenmeyi ve abone olmayı unutmayın beyler, hadi.